You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please go ahead, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or any suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm not sure if you have heard, but the finalists for the Naismith Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame that is, was revealed. And you have some new people on the list, such as Paul Pierce, and some returning players, such as Ben Wallace, that have been named finalists. So some of the players, Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, Chris Webber, Michael Cooper, Lauren Jackson, Ben Wallace, Yolanda Griffin, they are among some of the finalists in the 2021 Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, I want to say that when it comes to Hall of Fame credentials, it's not just your pro credentials. You know, you have people who play overseas that are eligible for the Basketball Hall of Fame. And that's not just NBA. That can be NBA plus their career overseas or any other basketball that they've played, such as like over here in the U.S., you have NBA players. It won't just take into account their NBA careers, but also their college careers. Okay, so I just named off some of the people who are among the finalists. Now, Paul Pierce, he's the first-time nominee. He spent 15 years of his 19 NBA seasons with the Boston Celtics. And, of course, you know, he won a championship, won a finals MVP in 2008. He was also a 10-time All-Star, and he is second, which is, it got me. I would have thought this might have been Bird up there somewhere, but he's second on the Celtics all-time scoring list behind John Havlicek. Now, Chris Bosh was nominated back in the 2020 class, but he was not named a finalist. Now, Bosh, who is an 11-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, and Olympic gold medalist, he's also been nominated as a finalist. Chris Webber, who was the number 1 pick in the 1993 draft, he was also a five-time All-Star in his 17 NBA seasons, and a primary part of the Michigan Fab Five, who legacy reshaped college basketball for more than 2 decades. You know, guys coming into college, they wanted to be, you know, they wanted to be the Fab Five. They wanted to be Michigan. They wanted to be, you know, have the bald heads and the black socks and the black shoes and the baggy shorts. You know, so that Michigan team that Webber was on made a big impact in college basketball. All right. Now you have Michael Cooper, who I'm definitely surprised to see as a finalist this late. He spent 12 years with the Lakers as a member of the Showtime era, winning 5 championships with Magic Johnson. Now, he was named NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 1987. He was named to the All-Defensive Team 5 times. After his playing career, he went on to coach the LA Sparks, winning 2 championships, and the WNBA Coach of the Year in 2000. Now, Ben Wallace. He's a name that, you know, I keep seeing everybody throwing that he deserves to be in. But Ben Wallace, you know, he's going to go down. Well, not go down, but he is one of the greatest defenders in NBA history. Was a 4-time All-Star. He won a championship in 2004 with the Detroit Pistons, with a career of averaging only 5 points a game. Now, Ben Wallace was named to 6 all-defensive teams and is only one of 2 players to win 4 Defensive Players of the Year. The other player, Dikembe Mutombo. You also have 5-time All-Star Marcus Johnson. You got 5-time All-Star Tim Hardaway, They are also finalists. Also named as finalists in this year's class was Coach Rick Adelman. He is the 9th winningest coach in NBA history. You got Villanova coach Jay Wright, a 2-time NCAA champion. And the entire class of 2021 will be unveiled May 16th. Now, my thoughts on this. I don't necessarily watch shows like Skip and Shannon, or I definitely don't watch First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. I just can't stand to watch this. That show is horrible to watch. But I might watch a clip here and there in passing. And I must say, I don't really agree with a lot of Skip Bayless's talking points. But I do agree when he says, if I have to think about it for a while, you're not a Hall of Famer. And I know everyone is saying, you can go anywhere online and people will tell you Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. I can't put Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame, not against the players that are up to go in. Look, Ben Wallace had one of the most seesaw careers you will ever see. Ben Wallace, I think it was like his first 4 or 5 years in the league. He was with the Bullets/Wizards. Did nothing in the league. Nothing at all. I mean, he was just another guy that was on the roster. And things didn't turn around for him until he ended up going to the Detroit Pistons. Now, in Detroit, he had like a great 5-6 year stretch in Detroit. Then you look at the tail end of his career. Remember, he signed that big deal to get out of Detroit with the Chicago Bulls. Remember that big deal he signed, and he went back to playing like the Ben Wallace that was with the Wizards and the Orlando Magic. People forget or don't even know that Wallace was on those Magic and Wizards teams early, before he ended up going to the Detroit Pistons. He was traded to Detroit. And I look at his career, it's too much of a seesaw up and down for me. Look, he put in work in Detroit. But my thing is, when I think of a Hall of Famer, it's about consistency. Okay? You got guys who done it from the minute they got to the NBA, to the pros, to the minute they left the pros. And then, remember, it's not also just your NBA career. It's also your college career, wherever else you've played ball. The guy, to me, he just doesn't have the credentials. He just doesn't have it. One of the greatest defensive players in the history of the NBA, yes. I will give you that. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He has a championship. But I am one of those people that I believe championships also do not define if you're a Hall of Famer. I can't stand when people say, well, you need a championship to be in the Hall of Fame. I disagree. Wholeheartedly. I disagree. So, look, Ben Wallace, look, great career in Detroit. Like I said, he had six good years, and then he had like 4 years before that were bad, and then he had 4 years after the Detroit years that were bad. He had more bad seasons than he did good. So for that, I can't put one Mr. Ben Wallace into the Hall of Fame. I am going to say that Chris Webber deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Yes, C-Web. Remember, it's not just what you're doing in the pros. It's your college career as well. So, I think Weber should be in. I think Pierce is going to get in. I was a little hesitant about Chris Bosh, but, the guy is very accomplished. I had no idea he was an 11-time All-Star. And, he won the championships in Miami. He's an Olympic gold medalist. So, I see Bosch getting in this time. Michael Cooper that just shocks me that he's finally up as a finalist now. But he ended up being one of the greatest coaches in the WNBA. So on that, excuse me, I guess Michael Cooper probably would get in my opinion, over Ben Wallace. I just don't see Ben Wallace getting it. Remember, Ben Wallace was up to get in last year. So apparently there are people out there that think like me. So I would put Michael Cooper in before Ben Wallace, and as well as head coach Rick Adelman. If you follow Rick Adelman's career, he coached those Portland Trailblazers teams with Clyde Drexler. They won the 2 titles. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but he got them to the NBA Finals. He also coached those Sacramento Kings teams that went up against Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers. So Rick Adelman, more than likely, he's probably going to get in too, along with Jay Wright out of Villanova. It's a good class. But I see this. I hate to say this, because I don't want people to think that I'm just hating on Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace is an exceptional player. Like I said, he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time. I just don't see him getting in on this year's ballot. Same as Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway, the killer crossover. One of my favorite point guards growing up, especially in the old Nike Air Raid commercials with Spike Lee. Unfortunately, I don't see him getting in this time as well. It's just too much of the star power. I really don't see him getting in compared to those other guys. And those are my thoughts on the finalists for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. All right, so this day in sports, back in 1972, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was named NBA MVP. And on this day back in 1989, Pete Rozelle announces his retirement as the NFL commissioner after 29 years at that position. All right, before I get out of here, my RP comment of the day. Gentlemen, have an outfit for every occasion. Don't just have the retro J's or your low-cut all-white Air Force Ones and whatever else you wear with it. Go buy a suit, buy some khaki pants or something, some black dress pants, get a button-up collar shirt. Have an outfit for every occasion. And I think that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, look, I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Go to the Facebook page, get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.